Welcome back to RTOD. Today we're looking at the 1999 N64 game Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. Developed by LucasArts and published by THQ, this game may be unfamiliar to you, and that's okay. Originally intended to be a rental exclusive through Blockbuster or purchased directly through LucasArts' website, you could say that this wasn't as widely distributed as many other games. Now, there was a PC version of this, but we're looking only at the N64 copy. The game's set in 1947, right after World War II, and we follow Indiana Jones as he uncovers a Soviet plot to harness a weapon more powerful than a nuclear bomb. The game features a rich narrative inspired by classic films, with a blend of action, puzzle solving, and exploration. Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine is an action-adventure game that mixes platforming, puzzle solving, and combat. Think Tomb Raider for the N64. The controls can be clunky even by 1999 standards. Sometimes you have to be directly in front of something for it to register. You do get accustomed to this, but it takes time. Perfect example of this is your introduction level. I don't want to call this a tutorial, and I'll get into that, but you got to make a series of climbs and jumps right away, and you have to be at the perfect spot for the system to register it. And I really wish that there was a pop-up message or something telling you of what you have to press to do certain actions. There was a part where you had to crouch down. It took me a while to figure out what this was. If I had the manual and I read it, I could have figured it out, but I don't think it would have been that hard to implement a pop-up saying, hey, press R to crouch. For a game released in 1999, the graphics are perfect. I'm playing mine with the expansion pack on CRT with S-Video, and it looks great. IGN called it one of the prettiest titles to ever grace an N64, and I tend to agree with them. The environments are richly detailed, ranging from ancient temples to snowy mountains, each capturing the essence of a true indie adventure. Speaking of the expansion pack, you do need it to play the Temple of Doom-inspired minecart level, and it definitely is worth it. The sound is another highlight. You have original score by Clint Bajakian, bringing in-depth and a cinematic feel. It kind of feels like an Indiana Jones movie, and it should. The voice acting, which is done by Doug Lee, he also voiced Indiana Jones in The Fate of Atlantis on DOS, does bring the character to life, but it's no Harrison Ford. The puzzle-solving aspect can't be overlooked because it's a very large part of the game, but this level here in the ship, it personally seemed a little tedious. There's a lot of trial and error. Now, unless I'm doing it wrong, you almost have to go through, get caught, get put back into your cell, and keep trying until you can get a path that works for it. I don't want to give too much of the level away, but it kind of draws away from the realism of the game, but that's part of it. I was never a big fan of repetitive puzzle games. I like Tomb Raider. It's not my go-to. Same thing with this. Some of the puzzles are really fun and interactive. Some like this are just repetitive, and it seemed like a burden to get through it. Despite a lot of its charms, Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine isn't without its challenges. The controls can be frustratingly complex and downright annoying. The camera angles sometimes make navigation difficult, although you can reset the camera. Now, it might not have reached the height of other N64 games, likely being chained to a Blockbuster exclusive, and simultaneously being released around the same time as Majora's Mask and Banjo-Tooie. It's better than the PC version, but the controls make it difficult for casual gamers. Also difficult for anyone can be the resale prices. The game demands a higher price on sites like eBay if you want a true original. Maybe that's worth it for you, maybe not, but if you want to complete your collection, you're gonna need this. Alright, so who is this game for? Well, if you're a hardcore collector and you need every single N64 game for your region, yeah, pick up a PAL or North American copy. Go right ahead. Maybe pay a premium for the non-Blockbuster one. I like having the Property of Blockbuster sticker on mine. I like to see that it was at store 28020 from Vicksburg, Mississippi. That's pretty cool, right? I like that. Not everybody does. So, yeah, if you need to complete your collection, sure, go for it. If you really like the Indiana Jones series, yeah, pick it up. If you're a big fan of the Indiana Jones Greatest Hits for Super Nintendo and you would play it every single day and then get incredibly frustrated and throw it in a corner and pick it up later because you're a glutton for punishment, yeah, pick it up because it'll fit right in. And that's kind of what I compare this game to. I actually think that some of the sounds in this are taken from the Super Nintendo one. But that's where it goes into it. It's an incredibly frustrating game at times, but it's rewarding when you beat those levels. The controls are your worst enemy. You have to be exactly the right position for certain action items to happen out. The Z aiming is great. You know, it'll auto aim for you. That's huge. Without it, it would be unplayable, similar to the PC version, in my opinion, anyway. But between the unforgivingness of the controls, the camera angles at times, and just the utter frustration that you get into, you have to really want this game. You have to really like Indiana Jones. You have to really like these puzzle adventure games to make it worth it. So the choice is yours. If you just want to try it, get one of the repo carts. I hate saying that. I'm not a fan of reproduction carts at all, but there are times for it. And I think this is one of the case where you have a game that's a little on the rarer side. It wasn't widely distributed, but at the same time, if you're not seeking this out because you really want the game, I don't want to see you pay $70, $80, $90 or more for it when a repo cart would work, or an emulator. And again, I really hate saying that, but I think those are some of the options for games like this. But I will say, and this is the reason I made this review, because there's other reviews on YouTube that talk about this game. I think it's a really good staple piece of what the N64 can do. I think it is graphically a really challenging game for the system. It can be played without the expansion pack, but you lose that minecart level. But with the expansion pack, there are some enhancements that can be difficult to spot. But if you play it on real hardware with S-Video on a CRT, a pretty good CRT, it's rewarding. It looks great. It sounds great. It's very theatrical. You kind of get lost a little bit in the game. So overall, yeah, if you can get it for a good price, pick it up. This one I had an eBay search for a while, and it would keep popping up, and I'd look at it. And I got a pretty good deal on this one. I think so. And I hope you would get a good deal as well if you want to go with an original cart. So that's going to wrap this up. I don't do a whole lot of these game reviews, but I am working on another one for a Super Nintendo shoot 'em up. So stay tuned. If you like what we're doing here at Retro Tech or Die, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll catch you next time.